Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me today. I am Julie with Creations by Julie. Ed is behind the camera, and I don't have my phone here today, so he's going to try to catch all of your questions. If they run by and he doesn't see it, don't worry about it. I always go back and look at the comments and the questions after the live anyway. So if you have a question about anything we're doing today, then just put it in the comments. Also, if you're new to my page, welcome, and be sure and put on there that you're new. We have a great group of ladies here. This is the last Wednesday, I'm going to be live at 1 o'clock. Next Wednesday starts March, and I have something totally different planned for the month of March. You'll have to stay tuned till the end of this video to see what that's all about. But for this video, you still have an opportunity, even if you watch the replay, to get in on our blessing bag. And our blessing gift this month is going to be a box of my favorite things that I've put together. And I'll show that to you at the end of this video. Also, I'm going to give away 4 pages out of a hymn book for you to try a rose with. But that'll be at the very end, and you have to be here all the way to the end to be eligible for that. But if you want to get in on the blessing bag, all you have to do is share this video to your page and push it out to your friends to help me grow my page. That's what the algorithms pick up, your comments, the hearts, the emojis, and the shares. More people they'll show it to. And that's the purpose of most of us doing lives. I do my lives to try to show you inexpensive, quality home decor that you can make super simple. Today probably is one of my favorites, and we're going to be making some roses out of both hymn book and paperback or hardback book, pages out of books. I got on YouTube a couple of months ago, and I watched several people. You can get on YouTube and just search paper roses. You're going to see several different ways of doing them. I tried several of them, and then I just kind of tweaked it to where it suited me, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, I am also going to show you how to do roses out of coffee filters, which turn out beautiful if you're going to put them in arrangements. You don't get them as small as you can get some of these small ones out of pages. But I'm going to do that, not necessarily in March, because I have all my Easter things planned for March. We'll do it before Mother's Day. So welcome, and let's talk about our books and our pages. You can do different sizes. Here's some roses that are really tiny. Some of these, this one is done out of a hymn book. What color you get and the size of your rose is going to depend on what kind of paper you use. You can tell this is a small book, paperback book, that I'm sure I got from the dollar store or somewhere, or my mom's stash, something, but it's pretty small. Then you have some larger books like this. This is going to give you a larger rose, and that's what I'm going to start with today, because I would suggest that you do a couple of larger roses first, because when you start dealing with these little tiny ones, but I'm going to show you how to do these, but when you start dealing with these, it can get pretty tedious. So it's very easy. They're folded the same way. Everything's done the same. And the color of your rose, I don't know if you can see these, but like this one's a very white hymn book. This one's a little bit different. And then this is kind of an antique-y looking, and it's got a little bit of white, and we're going to talk about that too. But it just depends on what pages you pick out. See, this is an older book, so the pages are, if you want a rustic, primitive rose, you'd want to use something like this. When you get ready, and then see, so I've got a big one, I've got a little one. Now your hymn pages are all pretty much the same size. You can, some people probably are having a fit because I'm tearing pages out of a hymnal. This is not a recent hymnal. This is one I purchased on Etsy. You can go on Etsy and find vintage hymn books. And I think I paid like $8 for it maybe or something. I mean, you could just do a ton of pages out of this. But we're going to talk a little bit about all the extra white you're going to have. You want to look at your page. If you're using a hymn book, now this is just my suggestion. I want a page that there's only one song on the page. See, like this one has two. I wouldn't choose this page because I want both sides like this to be one song. So you've got one song on this side of the page and one song on this side of the page. The same thing with your paperback books. I don't want to use, like if it's got all this white, I don't want to use that page. I want to turn it to a page that's solid writing on both sides. That's just me. You can practice with whatever and see what you like. But you'll see why it makes a difference as we start our roses. So really, like I said, the size of your book is going to determine the size of your rose. I honestly did not measure these roses with the pages that I used, and I will tell you, don't throw away your scraps, because that's where I made the little roses. Basically, we're out of the scraps. You want to start with a square, and I'm going to show you how to make a perfect square. But we're going to start, and we're going to do like this book because it's larger. I think you'll be able to see better. And see, a lot of these pages have breaks in them, and I don't want that. So I'll find some pages that don't. Like, see, so you certainly don't want this page on the side. And I haven't done enough of them yet to figure out if it really makes a difference that one page does and one page doesn't. I just make sure that I get writing on both pages. And it's not that hard to find. You know, like there's one, there's two, there's three, and there's four. So I could just tear these 4 pages. You don't want to rip the sheet, so tear as close to the bind as you can. So I'm just going to go ahead and tear these out. Now see, it did mess up a little bit there, and I'm going to lay those right there. I think by using the larger sheet, you'll be able to see more how I fold and what it looks like. So I'm going to get up and move to the end of the table. Ed's going to zoom in so that you can actually see how I fold. We will, whether you make the big ones or the little ones, medium size, whether you put them on a stem or you just want to use them for an embellishment or maybe put them around a wreath, they're going to be folded the same way until you get to a certain point. Then I'm going to, when we get to that point, I'll explain the difference there. So he's going to zoom in, and I'm going to move around here. You don't really need a whole lot either, but, oops, sorry. I got his camera leg, tripod. Okay, you're going to need something to cut with. I'm going to use this. I think it's from Memory Makers or something. It just makes it easier. You can use scissors. You're going to need 4 sheets of paper, okay, from any book that you want to use. And you have to start by, and you're going to need some glue. If you want to put it on a stem, you're going to need, remember I told you not to throw away the stems from those roses that we cut the stems off of? Or if you go to Hobby Lobby and you purchase flowers, save your stems, save your leaves. You can use any kind of leaf you want to.
You got to be careful of the motion because I'm zoomed in. It goes out of focus every time.
Well, it comes right back in, right? Well, I mean, that's just part of it. I got to move. So you can put it on a skewer if you want to. The only thing about putting it on a skewer like this is if you're going to put it in an arrangement or whatever, this is not bendable. These are bendable so you can do whatever you want to with your rose. Okay, but you can use wire, you can use a pipe cleaner or a skewer. I'm going to use this skewer for something else in a few minutes. Okay, so take your paper and you're going to fold all 4 sheets the same way, but the first thing we have to do is to get a square. To get a perfect square, I might have got, no. All right, you're going to take your paper. Now see, this is really rough, so I'm only going to fold it. Normally you'd fold it right to the top, and you still could. But I'm just going to fold it right there and make a triangle, okay? And then you can take your scissors. You want to cut along this line, and I will actually pull this out and tell you what size square this is. But you want to start with a perfect square. Okay, do we have anybody watching today?
Me.
Okay. Hopefully some people will jump on. The replay's always there, always good. Do not throw away your extra paper. This is what I made the little bitty roses out of. Just set it aside. Okay, so I've got this folded pretty straight. I wasn't perfect right there. Okay, so my square, this one for this sheet, this particular book is 5, not quite 5.5 by 5.5. It depends on the size book you use. So I'm going to do all 4 and then just put your line, because that's how you've gotten your square. I'm going to do this one the same way. You fold like a triangle. If I had torn this straighter, it would have been easier. It would have made a little bit larger flower too. Now when you got it folded on each other, it's a little harder to see, and that's where I like to use my cutting. I can just put it in like this and get it straight and cut it. Put this one aside for later maybe. There's my second one. Okay. Now if I wanted to start out, and this is not long enough like to cut this, but what I could do is just go right down this line of words and just cut off this. And let's hope that would kind of make it the same. We're going to see. So I'm going to be taking this and folding it even, since I now have an even line, and I'm folding it like this. Then I'm going to cut off this excess to form my perfect square. Get it up in there and get it straight. Save this piece, lay this piece here. And you make sure those are kind of, yeah. Okay. So same thing with this one. I'm going to take this and fold it to that line. And then cut off this excess. All this you can throw away. And Ed says as I move, since he's got it zoomed in, it might go a little blurry. Just give it a second and it'll come back. So I have 4 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to throw all this away because I will not be using these little pieces again. Okay, and then I have these 4. This is what I would take to make the little ones. I would pretend this is a whole sheet of paper, and I would fold it up like this to get my triangle. So you're going to have a good bit of white though. And that would be, I would cut this off, and that would be my triangle. And you can see you get smaller it gets a little tedious to finish working with them, but that's how you make your smaller ones. And, you know, you get actually 2 roses out of 4 sheets of paper. Okay, so now that I have those 4 pieces of paper, are there any questions about how to get your perfect square?
I don't know.
You don't have a question? Can you sit and do one of these roses, you think? I bet you can when I'm done. Okay, take your triangle. You're going to fold it one more. So this is 1 fold. This is 2 folds. You're just going to fold it over, crease it. You've got another triangle. Okay? You're going to fold it 1 more time. And this is what you have. It's almost like those things that you used to take and flip in school to try to make a field goal. Do you remember how you'd fold paper to do that? So that's what we have. Basically, there's 3 folds.
There's little finger things folded too, that you put your 4 fingers in.
Oh, those things that open. Those are called something. I don't remember what. So that's 1. All right, this is 1 fold. You're going to fold it 2 more times.
Welcome, Miss Karen.
Okay, so that's fold 2. This is fold 3. Karen, we were talking earlier about the size book pages you use is going to determine the size of your flower. These, you want a perfect square out of your book pages, and you'll have to go back and watch that as to how to do that. You need 4 sheets, so that's 1 fold, 2, 3 folds, and you're going to do all 4 sheets like that. 2, 3. Well, now that's not even. Hang on. Let me try this. This is probably the one I cut. So I'm going to make it even by just trimming this. That was probably the one I cut different. And then I'm going to fold it again. So I have 1. I'm trying to fold them all the same way. 2, 3, 4. 4 triangles. You would, like I said, you would do this even if you were making the smaller roses. Let me show you again. And we'll use just one of these sheets. I talked earlier, Karen, about you want to make sure it's writing on both sides. This is a smaller book. So I'm going to take this one sheet and try to tear it out right from the binding. Easy. You don't want it to pull in half. And you're going to use 4 pieces this size. But to get your perfect square now, you're going to take 1 piece and, let's see, I don't think it matters which way you go. Fold it up even, put to the corner like this. And then if you cut right on this line, you should have a perfect square. Do not throw this part of it away. So I'm going to put that up there and cut right along that line. That's how you get your triangle. Save this for a small flower. All right, so once you have your triangle, then you're going to fold it. That's 2, 3. Now, see the difference in the size of this triangle and these triangles? That's because we used the small paperback book for this one. And we used, not a hymn book, but we used this big, I wanted to do it big so you could see. We used this book for the other, which will make a bigger rose. Okay. So, once you've got that done, you want to take your, I don't think it matters which way you hold it. I like to always do them the same and like have the folded edge to my left. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to like make a cone. So you're cutting off a lot. This is going to make your petals. You're going to make like an ice cream cone. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if you open it up, it looks like a heart. Okay? But once you get, I could do it different. I could cut it some more and really make it look more like an ice cream cone. You want to come down a little bit though, because that is, you're making the petals to your rose, basically. All right, once you have one, like you like it, you're going to take your other pieces and do the fold side here. Put it on here so that they're all the same size. And I'm just going to cut right where I cut on the other one. Okay, lay it aside. Do all of them that way. All 4 pages, all 4 triangles. I'm just cutting it around where it kind of looks like an ice cream cone, but if you fold it out, it's a heart. Okay, so that's 2 of them. 3 actually with this one. I want to keep my folded edges in the same place. Okay. And this is just throwaway paper. Okay. So now I have 4 pieces like this, where if you open them up one time, you've got hearts. So you're going to take the first one, okay? You're going to open it up. Nope, I want to clip the ends first, sorry. Before you open it up, just barely clip off the end of it to where you're going to have a hole in it. Doesn't really matter if they're exactly alike, but once you get your cone, just clip off that end, okay? I've got 4 pieces.
You cone, ice cream cone elite.
Yeah. All right, you're going to open it all the way up, and this is what you have. You actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. Okay. You're going to take one of them, the first one you open up, and you're going to cut off 1 petal, so right down to the middle, in the middle of your heart, down to the middle. So you have 7 petals. You cut off 1 petal. Now what I do is take them and lay them on opposite sides. Can they see that much of the mat? Okay, I put my one with 7 petals here, my 1 petal over here. Okay, then you're going to open up the next one, and you're going to cut off 2 petals into the middle, and I'm cutting off 2 petals. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. It's going to go here. This is how you're getting your shape. 1 petal, 2 petals. The next one, you're going to cut off 3 petals. So you cut in the middle of one of the hearts and then the other side. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to go next to my 6. Then I've got 1, 2, 3 petals. This one, you're not going to need both pieces. You're going to cut it right down the middle so that you got 4 petals all the way through, right down the middle. If you're making several of them, take this one and put it aside. You can use it for your next flower. If not, all you want is the 4 petals. So what you've got, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now your next step, this is where it's done just a little bit different. Well, you don't do it different till you get, if you're going to put it on a stem, let's put this one on a stem, okay? If you're going to put it on a stem, then you're going to start with your littlest petal, okay? And you're going to take that little petal and put it on your stem and like roll it so that it stays on that stem. And it was like my glue had dried. Okay, so this is the middle of your rose. Okay, if you're not going to put it on the stem, then you start with the bigger one, but we're going to put this one on the stem. So there's what you have. That's the one petal just wrapped around. All right, then you're going to take your next petal and you're going to kind of fold it just where it barely goes around. And you still want a cone to where you have two petals. This is the one with two petals. So I'm just barely going to put it on there. Okay, for my two petals. I still want, I don't know if you can see, I still want a little bit of hole that I can see through there. So I have two petals on this one. All right, I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to take my one with three. It kind of, you just barely do it also to where you have three petals. You're building your rose. Okay. And it doesn't matter if they're, you know, you want the edges down. It doesn't matter if they're the same spaced apart or not. Okay. All right, now you're going to start overlapping petals. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And it seems confusing right now, but once you do it a time or two, it's done the same way and it's not as confusing. So I'm going to take these two petals and kind of overlap them. And I have 3 petals instead of 4. Does that make sense? I'm gluing one petal on the other one. So it doesn't matter which one you put the glue on. And that makes one petal a little thicker, but that's okay. And it puts us with like 3 petals, but that's okay too. This one's a little larger. I still have my hole down there because I want to be able to put it up on this. Okay? You could cut another one if you wanted to. All right, you're going to do the same thing for the next 3. You're going to overlap a petal. So I'm going to put the glue on just whichever side you're overlapping. Kind of cone it. One petal on top of the other. So I've got 2 petals right here. And kind of work it to where you've got your cone. And if you have to cut that hole a little bit bigger, that's fine. So that our stem. And this is where it's different if you're making one just as a embellishment. You don't have to worry as much about the hole because you're not putting it through a stem. Okay, so that makes this petal thicker. But I've got 4 petals, so I'm just going to keep my order. I've got 2 kind of the same, but I'm going to keep my order right here. I'm going to do this one the same way. And I'm going to overlap these 2. If they're a little bit different right there, it doesn't matter. You can trim that or you can leave it. I'm going to leave it. Okay, and then, whoops, you get glue everywhere. This is the last one. And we're going to overlap those petals. Okay, I'm going to overlap those. Trying to keep my cone shape a little bit, okay? All right, now before I put any more on my stem, I kind of want to curl so that you can get like the curl of your petals. And I found that the best way to do that is to take like a skewer, take a little bit of water, and put And it doesn't matter which one you start with. But I wet my skewer a little bit. It just seems to hold them better. And you just take it on there and just curl them. You can do big curl. You can do a little curl. It's just up to you. But you want a little bit of curl on those rose petals. And you know, no rose is perfect. They're different. The water really helps on those that you've kind of doubled the petal. So you're going to do all your petals that way if you want curls on all your petals. You don't have to. All right,
But a normal rose is curved.
It's got curled petals, but you may have ones curled more than another, and that's okay. Okay. So, any questions about the curls? But you want to do that before you go any further. Some people say wait till you get it done and then do it. But I found it's just easier to do this before you do the step to put your rose together. So I'm going to do that on all of these. You'll find that those that are doubled is a little harder to get them to curl, but they do. They don't all have to be curled the same. You just want a little curl there, so that it looks more like a rose. And once you get used to it, it really does not take that long. Okay, so we're on the last one. I'm not going to curl this one that we put in the middle. To me, if you wet the skewer a little bit, it just kind of seems to make the paper easier to turn and curl. Okay, so that's the last one. Okay, now you'll start building your rose. This is only done this way if you're going to put it on a stick or a piece of wire or whatever. So I'm going to start, and the reason you need that hole is because you're going to start pushing it up, okay? And I'm going to put a little bit of glue all the way around this, just to grab hold of that. And this one's not curled at all, but on the next ones you'll see, you don't want it going way down below it, but you don't want to pull so hard that you pull that one loose. You're just going to kind of pull and pinch. Now, if you want to curl it again once you get it on there, that's fine. All right, I'm going to go around the bottom, all the way around, and I'm going to do my other one. Now, when I put this one on there, see, I've got two here with 3 curls. I don't know that it matters which one, but when I go to put it on here, I want it to be in the middle of these 2 curls. Like I want this curl in the middle of those 2, and I'll just push it up there. Does that make sense? And squeeze it at the bottom so it'll catch that glue. Doesn't look like much yet, but we're getting there. Okay, so this one I'm going to do the same thing. Put some glue around both edges, slip it up, and turn it to where they're both got 3, so just kind of turn it to where it's a little different than the one you put on right before it. Like I want to curl right there. And then squeeze. Now once I get it done, I may want to curl that one just a little bit more. Okay, so you're getting it going. See, these 2 are right together, but that's okay. So pinch it together so it's not quite so big. Run my glue around. put my paper on there, and I'm going to go this curl right there. And you want to push it up so that's kind of the same. And when you're done, if you want to, you can go back. I may trim that middle. Okay. And then I'm going to put more glue and slip this one on. And you may, have a little bit where you have to, when you pinch it, you may have to bend it just a little, but that's okay. Okay, then I'm gonna put a little glue here. I haven't heard Ed say anything, so I guess it's making sense. But now the one thing about, the replays, that's what's good. You can take this and stop it and start it and go back. That's what I did when I was watching on YouTube. I would stop it and write down, what they did, and then start it again. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pinch this one. So there we kind of have our rose, and we'll just go back in and tweak it a little. And I am going to just kind of cut off the tip of that right there so that it didn't stick up higher. And then you can just kind of curl more of them if you want to, leave some of them open. And since we put it on a stem, yeah, I'm going to add, these are the flowers that we took off our other roses, and I'm just going to run it through there, and hopefully it fits this one. Yeah, got a little crook in it right there. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here at the bottom of this rose and get that up there. Now if you wanted to cut these off and put them straight to the paper, you could do that, but I'm just going to hold that there for a second. So that's our rose, and that's the size. What did I say? About 5.5 inches was our square. Let's see how big of a rose it made. About 4.5 inches. So that'll kind of let you judge on how big you want your square to be. Okay, so there's that rose. Like I said, you can color the tips of them if you want to. You could cut some of them shorter, but that is that one. Now I want to do another one and not put it on a stem and show you the difference. We could do this one, but I want to do one out of hem pages. So it's folded the same. It's going to end up a different size because I'm going to tell you the difference between this one and like this one. See the difference in the, now of course this is whiter because it was different pages, but see the difference in the size? With this one, I'm almost going to have to show you a page. I did this one first. See all the white areas? When you have, excuse me, just a minute, let me get the hymn book. When you have a hymn book, you've got all this white. No matter, you want one song on each side. So see, that would be good. This one's just one song. This one's one song. So I could do these for sure. And this tears out easier because I've torn several of them, okay? You do not want where there's two different songs. These two have the same. So that's 4 pages. Okay? Let me find one where there's more than one song. Well, like this one has 2 songs. This one's got finished this one and another one. I didn't want all that white. Now, this one is made just like it is, okay? So that's the white, all these white spots, and you can see part of the title of the song. All right, this one is kind of a medium size, and I like it. And what I did to get that one is I took and I cut to where I was only, you can't get 2 roses. Remember that one I had this much left, and I'll be able to get another rose. But if you do it this way, you only get 1 rose. So what I did, and I think I like it better that way, you don't have to do it that way, but I took the hem page and I cut off the title so that I did not have that white there. I started at the music. Okay, to where when I started it was the pages. And I think I even cut off, let me see here. I think I even trimmed the sides. So just trim your pages down. If I had a bigger trimmer, it would work faster. I'm going to cut off all the white, which is what makes a smaller rose, because you don't have, your square is not going to be as big. So I'm going to cut off all white and have nothing but music sheets on both sides, okay? So then you can't use all this, you just throw it away. So then when I take this and I fold it this way to make my perfect square, I'm only going to see music notes. You're not going to see that white. And that's what I did. And then I put this in here and cut it off even. Okay? So my square, if you do it that way on a hem page, is 4 3/4 basically. So I'm going to do all my pages that way. I'm going to cut off the title. And I know this takes a little bit longer, but I like the fact that you saw so much of the music note. True, it takes more pages. You're wasting a little bit of paper. But I like that size rose. Okay, see, I've got nothing but musical notes. But I'm throwing away all this other. So to get your perfect square, you fold edge to edge and then cut off this down here. Now, I could take this that I'm cutting off and make a tiny. I could take this and make a tiny. Keep the 4 pieces. All right, that's 2. And what I would do with this is just same thing. Fold it up to get your square, but you're going to have a tiny square. But it's all done the same way. All right, I'm going to make my square. And those are the triangles that you're going to be working with. It can be done. You get a flower probably about this size maybe. It's a little tedious, so don't start with the little bitty pieces, but I don't throw any of that away. Okay, so I've got 2 more of these to do. But you don't have, you could just take this whole sheet, fold it up like this, get your square. You know, there's a little bit of difference there. So I'm cutting off all the white. That's what I'm doing. Let me get this one and then we'll cut the sides. So I'm cutting off the title altogether and the bottom and both sides. I'm just going to cut up these lines. I hope this is making sense. If not, send me a message and I'll see if I can't explain it a little better. I'm basically just changing the size of paper that I'm working with. Okay. When you hop on, let us know that you're watching. And to be eligible for the sheets that I'm going to give away, you have to be watching at the end. Okay, so that gets that triangle. I'm going to cut these off. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what's in the box for February that someone is going to win. I will actually draw that name next Tuesday. Okay. I'm going to get my perfect square. I know, 1 o'clock in the middle of the day is not the best time to do a live, but you're still eligible for the thank you gift if you're watching replay. Just put hashtag replay and that you shared the video. Okay, so I'm saving those pieces and I can put this aside now. And I got all that trash. Let me put these back in here. I think I have four on a stem and a bunch without the stems. Yeah. So really get Ed to throw away all of that. And I'll save all this other. Okay. Like I said, whether you're putting it on a stem or not, you fold them the same. You've got four pages. Just folded one time in this triangle to make a perfect square. We're going to take each one of them and we're going to fold them 2 more times. 1. Try to get them even, because that's what makes your petals somewhat even. So this is 1 fold, 2 folds, 3 folds. So you've still got a triangle, it's just smaller. That's 1 fold, 2, 3. Hopefully Facebook is not freezing up. Several things that I've tried to watch live lately, they were freezing and I had trouble. Okay. So now I have 4 smaller triangles. Now I'm going to take them and I'm going to put the folded side to my left and I'm going to dip down and kind of make a cone around and back down. How far you come down is how big your petals are going to be actually. But if you open this up, you've kind of got a heart. Okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and clip off the end and use this as a pattern. I probably shouldn't have clipped off the end until I got it used as a pattern. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to just follow that pattern so that my petals are relatively alike and the same. And I moved it, sorry. So I'm going to use this one as a pattern. fold on the same side, get my points together, cut up, around and down. Okay. Up, around, and down. More trash. Okay. Now I'm gonna clip off the ends. Just a little bitty snip. Not even probably 1/8 of an inch, just a little snip. All right, so I've got 4. I'm going to open up the first one. See, and it's no big deal if your center is bigger in one than the other. I'm going to cut off 1 petal. I'm going to lay my 7 petals here, 1 petal there. The next one you open up. You're going to cut off 2 petals. 1, 2. Put the 2 petals there. What do I have? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Had 7, 6. Now I'm going to cut off 3 petals. One, 2, 3. So I'm going to cut over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. 3 petals. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. This one I need 4 petals. Now, if I had done the exact same page, remember I had this extra 4 petals, but I changed pages and totally changed how I did it. So I'm still going to save that. I'm going to use this one and cut it in half. But had I done it exactly out of the same book, same size, you could have used the 4 petals. So you want 4 petals. I'm going to lay this one over here. So I've got 1 petal, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? I'm going to start putting them together, overlapping. This petal over that petal. And gluing. Okay, so that's what you've got. So where you had 7 petals, now you only have 6 because you've overlapped these 2. So I'm going to do the same thing with my one with 5 petals. I'm going to overlap 2 of the petals, put some glue here where they'll stick together. Overlap those. You got a cone kind of. Okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. You do the same thing with the 4. Overlap. You really, once you get the hang of it, you can make a lot of flowers. Oops, got it stuck before I got it overlapped. Okay. Might have overlapped that one a little bit too far, but I'll just push that down. Same thing with the 4. I'm going to make it 3. You have to kind of twist them once you get to these smaller pieces. This one I'm going to maybe not overlap quite as far. Just a little. The next 2 or 3. So I'm making this one where I still have 3 petals on this one. And I try to keep them in order because when you get down to these little ones, they begin to kind of look alike. And this one I'm just barely going to overlap it, so I still keep 2 petals. And the same with the little bitty one, and I'm not putting it on a stick. So I'm just barely going to overlap this one. And you can see 1 petal, I really overlapped it too far, so 1 petal's up high and 1's down low, but I think it'll be fine. This one I'm just going to kind of take and curl it on itself. This is the center of our bud. So I'm just kind of make a petal. Put a little bit of glue on this outside. And I folded it to get it to go over, but then I will kind of round it up. Okay. Now, if you were gonna put it on a piece of wire or stem, you would have put the stem right here and then worked this way. Since we're not going to do that, we're going to start at the other end and work the opposite way. That's the only difference. They're folded the same, they're glued the same, it's just the way you put it together. So with this one, well, we need to curl our, let's curl our petals first. One day I forgot to curl the petals, and I did it after I'd put the flower together. And you can do that, but it's a whole lot easier to curl them to start with. And use whatever you want. You can use a bigger pencil. I'm using a skewer.
And you're wetting it.
Yeah, the wetting it just kind of helps it hold its shape a little bit better. And that time I used the bigger end. This time I'm going to go back to the smaller end. And I'm curling them almost down to where the petal starts, to where you've cut. You can do just the tips, whatever you want to do. You can tell the one that has a double petal. It's a little bit harder to get it to curl. See, they don't have to look perfect. I'm trying to keep them in order because I'm going to put them together in order. I'm going to start with the one with the most petals and go to the center. I have not put leaves on any of mine that I have not put on a stem. You could, but I thought I'd wait till I actually used them in something. Okay. I don't know, Ed, you might want to like refresh your Facebook, go out and come back in or something.
No, I'm seeing changes.
Okay. All right, let's see. That one's a little thick. That's okay. And you still want to kind of put them in side each other, like trying to put petals opposite. Okay, this is the last one we're going to curl. And I may not even curl that one much at all because it's in the... Okay, so I've got that done. Now I'm going to start with the largest, the one with the most petals. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the inside of this petal to where when I put this other petal down in it, like this, and see I put the petals opposite, and you're just going to put it down in it. Like that. You're going to do the same thing. You're building. You can either put your glue here, turn it to where your petals are different, and put it in there. Does that make sense? You're building from the biggest up. I like putting my glue down in this petal because wherever that one touches is where it's going to stay. And I'm going to put like this petal between these Maybe even open it up just a little bit. So I am building my flower, and that glue went through to the bottom. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to put this one turned this way. And hold it for just a minute. And I'm getting to the inside of my rose. So I'm going to put it on the outside of this one. And put it down in there this way and try to kind of hold it straight. It's almost faster to build it when you don't put it on a stem. And this is the center to my flower. So I'm going to try to just get it there in the center, right down in that hole. And I'm going to let that dry before I try to shape it up another, any other way. And you can shape it up by opening some petals. If some are, too close, you can maneuver it a little bit. You can punch your flower in a little closer. If you wanted this really closed up, you could put a little glue between those two, or you can open it back up a little bit. But you want to make sure that you let your... Now see, I could go back now if I wanted to. This was the short part, I think. And I could curl that a little more. Just get that wet. Don't pull on it. Just curl it. And I could put extra curls on any of them I wanted to. So there's your rose when you don't put it... oops! You have to watch those glue strings. There's your rose when you don't put it on anything. And this one and this one should it be about the same size. They're not. I think I curled this one a little tighter. But they were made where you just see. And do you see the difference? Let me find this other one. Well, this one's white. But do you see the difference where you see all the white here, but when you cut off the title of the song, you just see musical notes? And I like that. Now, if you're doing a book, it's no big deal. Like this one, see, there's a good bit of white, but that's okay. And then this is one I did after I had done the large one. It would have been this one because the pages match. So out of 4 pages out of the hymn book, I got this one and the smaller one. So I hope that makes sense. If not, just send me a message. I still have several pieces that I can make some smaller ones. You can put these roses in any kind of vase that you want to, or you can use them in dough bowls and different things like that. So, but that's how you do the roses out of book pages. We're going to do some roses closer to Mother's Day out of coffee filters, and they're done totally different. But they're beautiful, especially if you dye the coffee filters and paint them or whatever. So, but that pretty much gets this. I want to show you what is in our box for, I don't think we have many on, but I'm going to go ahead and show the box. If you're watching and you would like 4 hymn pages, I'm going to put them in an envelope and send them to you, and just put, "I'm here." And the first comment that Ed sees that says "I'm here" whether it's now or on the replay. And remember, it kind of depends on the speed of our internet, the speed of your internet, as to what he will see first.
That sounds like the medium Cindy is watching.
So if you would like some pages, even if you're watching the replay, just put that on there. I'm trying to kind of get this cleaned up so I can show you what our February giveaway is. I just don't want to get my extra pages here wet or anything, because I will be making smaller roses with those. So let me go around here. I'm going to have to get rid of all that in a few minutes. And Ed's going to have to probably come back up so that I can show you what's in this box. And this is the thank you gifts. I'm going to put this in this book so I know that's the book I used, so I can get the same sizes. I will go through, I've already got every week up until this week. Even if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay shared so that I know you shared it, and I will put your name in the gift box bag, and I will draw next Tuesday since it's the end of the month. Now, we will be going live Wednesday, but I have a whole new thing planned for March that I'm calling March Madness. We're actually going to go live twice on Wednesdays. Once at 12:30, once at 6 o'clock in the evening. A different craft each live. And I will be doing thank you gifts and discounts on my website, and we're going to be giving things away like crazy during the lives. So it won't be as much replay as it is if you're on the live. But this is what you've been working on all month. And I told you I was going to give you a box of my favorite things to work with or to do. So I'm going to show you right now what's going to come in the box. Tuesday, I will not be live. I will just post the winner is. And if I don't have your address, you'll need to contact me and send me your address. But like I said, even if you're watching the replay on all my lives for the month of February, you're still eligible for this. You just put in hashtag replay shared, okay, and put it on your page. So this is kind of what I'm going to give you. A little fuzz on this one. I don't know if you remember, but last year we took these dish towels and we made pillows out of them, and you can see that on a live from last year. But I'm going to give somebody this dish towel. It's the pretty white and black dish towel. You can use it as a dish towel, you can craft with it, or do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to give that dish towel. I'm going to give you a block of wood that Ed has already cut, sanded, and I have painted. And I'm going to give you one of my favorite napkins to decoupage on it, this cute little bunny. You actually will get, the napkin has 4 bunnies on it. Let me open it up. Every panel has a cute bunny to do with whatever you want. Okay, then I'm going to give you this surface, this chalkboard surface, and a magnolia stencil to put on the surface, and try your hand at the Magnolia Design Company. You're going to get this cute stencil. Spring is in the air with the bicycle. You're going to get a sample of white chalk paint to put on this black, and you're going to get a squeegee, all here in this little packet. So that's kind of a craft to play with. These stencils are so simple, a child can take this. This is a chalkboard surface, so it can be wiped off and reused over and over and over. So you're going to get that. Then you're going to get, let me get the things in here. I had to pack them a certain way to get everything in here. You're going to get some clippers. These are actually from Unique in the Creek. Came with a kit that I got to cut your tie wraps, your pipe cleaners, wire, whatever. You're going to get a pair of Betty Crocker scissors. You're going to get a water pen. You've seen me use my water pen for the napkins to give edges. Then you're also going to get this really cool pen. It's made by Pilot, and it's called an erasable pen. And what is so cool about this pen is, like, if you want to mark something on cloth or wood or whatever, you want to draw an outline, all you have to do is hit it with your heat gun. And I tried it on a piece of paper and cloth. And you put that heat gun to it and your mark disappears. So you can trace something, and if you don't get your lines exactly straight, you just erase it with a heat gun. So you're going to get that pen plus the water pen. And then the two larger things that you're going to get down here in the bottom, you're going to get this little craft iron. Okay. Then you're going to get this glue gun. Still in the box. The instructions. It's dual tip. It's got a, oops, I just spilled out some of the glue. You'll get the glue. But it's mini glue sticks. Evidently, I didn't close that up good. I'll have to get those. But you'll get, I don't know how many glue sticks this is. Probably 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 25. I don't believe it's 50, but probably 25. But I've never even taken the glue gun out. It's got kind of a sharp nozzle on it, so that's really good for small spaces. So that's what's in the gift box. And all I will need is for you to have shared one of my videos or all my videos. Every time you share, your name goes in the blessing bag. And this is what we'll be drawing for on Tuesday. And I won't show it again. I'll just put who the winner is, and then I will mail this to them. That's my thank you for you watching me this month. March will be thank you gifts all month long, every live. Well, every live may not have them, but there'll be most of them will. You know, at least one of the lives on that Wednesday. But they'll be Wednesday. I'll put more on my page about it. But they will be done on Wednesdays at 12:30 and 6 o'clock. And you will be able to go back and watch the replay for those. So I appreciate you watching this video. I would love to see pictures of the roses that you make. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and I will go back and try to answer those.
Linda Kirkendall says hi to Lynn.
Hi, Linda. You've commented. If you're interested in getting 4 sheets of hem paper, all you got to do is put on here, and you'll be the first one Ed sees. So that would make at least 1 rose, if not 2 roses for you. So I appreciate y'all being here, and we will see you. I'll see you next Wednesday at 12:30, but I will put a post as to who wins this box of goodies. So I think we've taken up enough time today. I hope you have a great week, and we will see y'all next Wednesday for March Madness. Next Wednesday is March 1st, so we'll start the month off with March Madness. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.